Hi TDA, my name is Nicole and I'm a parent here at the Daniel Academy. My children Gavin and Corin are attending here for the first year. And I want to talk to you today about India and about the children that you are helping with Orphanomics. This last year in January I had the privilege of going to India and meeting the children that you're going to be impacting with this fundraiser. And I just want to tell you some of the stories so that you can understand what the need is and how to pray and how God is asking us as a school to partner with what He's doing in India. One of the biggest needs comes from the reality that there is very little provision made for children in India, in particular for young girls. It costs a lot to marry off a daughter, and so there's a culture within Hinduism and within the country that basically says that little girls are a burden, and it has led to a massive orphan problem in India. And yet God always has a plan in these things, and He has spoken to Father Anton, a man who was working in the slum communities in India, and said, I'm raising up an end-time army of orphans who will preach the gospel, who will heal the sick, who will raise the dead, and who will shake the nations with their prayers. And now, after 10 years, he is caring for 14,000 orphans, and every orphanage has a house of prayer. So these are children that are learning that they are royalty before the Lord, that they have a voice, and he hearkens to their cry. And so I just want to quickly tell you one of the stories. When we were there in January, we met two little boys that were just adorable, and they were crawling all over the place, climbing everywhere. And the children have had such a response to their cries of intercession that there is now a 24/7 hotline into the orphanage where they pray for people all over the earth. And they also have a television show in India every Saturday night. So we saw these boys climbing all over the place, all across the stage. And we asked Father Anton's wife, what's the story with these two little boys? Because it was almost all girls. Well, she said, we saw them in the slums, and they were the sons of a prostitute, and they had been abandoned. And she said, and they were racked with polio. And the doctor told us when we brought them to the orphanage that they would never walk again, but that it was a good thing that we had rescued them, because they wouldn't have lived, they wouldn't have survived. And so I'm watching these little boys running all over the place, and I said, so tell me the story. And she said, well, we have a special place, which is what we visited, called Revival Kids, where they pull 70 children from all the orphanages that really have the calling of intercession upon their lives. And they brought these two little boys to Revival Kids, and the children prayed over them for a month, and they are completely healed. And I want to encourage you that actually it's not, oh, these poor orphans out there somewhere, but God's asking you to partner with what He's raising up on the earth. And you're partnering in the place of prayer and in the place of finances with this movement of orphans that He's raising up, that is powerfully impacting the nation of India and the nations of the earth. So be encouraged this week. And your Daniel Dare this week is to pray. I want you to think about these children that you are partnering with, these children that pray every day in their prayer room in their orphanage in India, that you're actually not just sending finances to feed orphans in slum communities that they haven't yet brought into the orphanages, but actually that you are partnering with the Lord and what He's raising up in the earth, a royal priesthood of children who are impacting the nations with their prayers. So this week, I want you to pray. We want you to pray for these children. Pray with them for the impacting of India through their prayers, through their preaching, through what God's called them to do. And we also want to ask you specifically to pray. There's 2 TDA dads, Reston and Wes, who are running Orphanomics and are currently in India. And we just want to pray for favor, for everything they need in order to set up Orphanomics and to get the food where it needs to go, that they would just have an amazing trip and that they would be really impacted by what they see and are an encouragement to the orphans that they visit.